Alright, in this episode number 62, we are going to see how to create this loading effect using HTML and CSS only. We're going to code this from scratch. In case if you want to follow, I'll leave the link for the source code in the description so that you can follow along with me. The first thing what we need is we are going to create a new file, an HTML file, and I'm going to name it as demo.html. And the second file is the style sheet file. I'm going to save this as style.css. It's already exists. The file already exists, it says. Now we are going to create a new file, and it is I have named it as name demo.css. Now let's use the HTML template exclamatory tab. Let's link the style sheet link and tab, and the name of the style sheet which we have given is demo.css. At present it is blank. The first thing what we need is we need a section with class loader, and then we need four span, and then we need a heading. We'll call this as loading with 3 dots, so the text character is 10. Now if I show you how does it looks, we have named it as demo.html. So this is it. This is how it looks. Now let's start styling the CSS. For all element, I want to remove the padding and margin. Let's add box sizing, border box. Now let's start styling the section. So I want the section to be at the center of the screen. So let's start designing the body. It's going to have background color of black, somewhat blackish tone, and now this body is going to stretch throughout the browser screen. So 100 vertical width and height 100 vertical height. Refresh it. This is how it looks. Now I want the loader div to be at the center. To make this happen, we are going to use display flex, align items center, justify content center. Now you should see loading at the center. Now let's start designing the loader div. Let's give the background color of the same black but in different shade, and we need to have the width and height to set the boundary for the background color. Let's make this 200 pixel height and 200 pixel width. Refresh it. This is how it looks. Now again, if I want the loading text to be at the center, we'll use the same thing which we have added for the body. Refresh it. Cool. Now I want to zoom in, so Control plus, so that looks great. Now the next thing, if you want to change the shade, let's pick from the inspector, Chrome inspect tool. So background, so this is darkish, too dark to pick. Cool, I'll take this, or if you want you can. I think this color is okay for me. Refresh it. Now let's pick the neon color. Let's go with the pinkish tone. Previously we have used yellow. Now we are going to use the pinkish tone. just to differentiate from the previous one. So we have loader, inside it we have a heading. So let's make the color as pinkish. Cool. Now let's start animating the text. So before animate text, I want the cursor like thing. So for that, border right 5 pixel solid, the same pinkish color. If this is too big, you can reduce the font width, sorry, border width. Now let's start animating. Animation. The name of the animation is typing. I'm going to name it. And the times second, and then the steps. And as we have seen, we have the word letter count 10, so we are passing the letter count, and then alternate infinite number of loops. Now let's start describing this. @ keyframes, name of the animation, and on 30th percentage of time frame, and on 60th percent of time frame, let the width be 0 pixel, and while ending we should see the width. It's, you can see, 83.61. Refresh it. Now you can see the three. We need to make overflow hidden. Cool. Now let's start working on the lines. This is the box, simply the box shadow. Now the first thing, we are going to choose the span. So we have loader class, inside that we have span. So I want this span to be of display block. We know by default span comes with the display inline element, and then I want to have position absolute for all span. Now let's start working on the first span using the Untitled selector. Get the first element. Now what we are going to do is, I want to position at the top 0 and left 0. Cool. And the width need to be 100 percentage. The height need to be 5 pixel, and background color, which is going to be linear gradient, 90-degree transparent, and the pink color. The degree is going to play a huge role, and then the either the top, the right, the bottom, or left. So you can see it's at the top. So we want to make this parent as position relative. So we know there is a rule, if we are using position absolute to the child, we need to use position relative to the parent. Cool. Now let's start animating. Animation, animate. So it's going to be 1 second, linear, infinite number of times. Let's define the animate. @ keyframes, animate, and on 0th percentage and on 50th and on 100th time frame, what are things need to be done. So on 0th percentage, what we need is, we want the width, sorry, not the width, since it's the left, so let's start with left 100 percentage, and while ending it should go out of the screen. The only thing is, start from left and end on right. And for all the loader, let's make this overflow hidden so it doesn't go out. Cool. Now the same way, the same step for the bottom. So for the bottom, we choose the span, third span, and then we need to choose right and then bottom. And for the degree, it should be 270 degree. It is purely practice. I'm getting to know the degree. And then right. Now what I need is, I want it to go from right to left. That's the reason. Just change the animation to animation name so that it doesn't get confused. Cool. Now we can add the animation delay. Animation delay 0.5 for the first one, and for the second one it should be 1 second, and for the third one it should be, sorry, for the first one it is going to be 0, the second one is going to be 0.5, the third one is going to be 1. Now if you see, now let's copy and do it for the second one. Now start from the top, right, again it's going to be top here. Let's change the animation. Since this is coming from top, we need to make the width as 5 pixel and height as 100 pixel. It's going to come from top. And the degree as well, it is going to be 180 degree. And for the time, as we have already said, it is going to be 0.5 second difference on all the span. Since this is the second span, it is going to be 0.5. The same way, let's cover the fourth one. Again, it is going to come from top, but this time it's from left. The reverse way. Change the animation name and then the time frame, a time delay. And don't forget to change the degree 380. 360, completing the circle. And now if you see on page load, you can see we just have to make, let's get with the start. Let's start with the first one. It should start from 100%. So for the third one again, it should start from 100%. From top 100%. Again we can have bottom here, sorry, not bottom. Again it's going to be top 100%. So there is time difference. Let's start with delay. For the first one 0, second one 0.5, third one 1, and the fourth one 1.5s. Yes, everything is right. I think this should not give us the undesired work. Okay, the first one is not working. That was simple. We want it to be on the left. Now it would work. Well, let's start by changing the duration to 2 seconds. Cool. I think the scope of this video is done. Get the source code in the description.